Welcome back to another TalkTruth Live Series. I'm your host, Shanique Davis, and tonight my co-host Lamar is online with us. Hi, Lamar.
Hi, good night. Sorry for the weird stuff, technical difficulties and things.
It's fine. All right, so we have persons who are faithfully here. Thank you guys for joining us. Please remember to like and share the video. We're about to start, and as usual, we're going to kick things off with prayer because we have to give God thanks. He's the one who has
Indeed.
all of this possible. So I'm going to ask Lamar to pray. Then I'm going to introduce our guests tonight and get right into tonight's conversation. Welcome again to tonight's broadcast. Lamar, please go ahead and start us with prayer.
Dear Lord, as I come before your presence, Lord, I thank you for life, thank you for everything, Lord. I'm asking for your guidance, protection while we do this live, Lord, and I'm asking you to help us, touch us so we can touch someone out there, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
All right. Thank you again, guys, for coming out. Please leave us a comment so we can know that you're here. Share
Yeah,
the
man,
video
yeah, man.
to as many persons as you can. And let the persons who do not have a Facebook account know that we have a YouTube channel specifically
Mm-hmm.
for persons who do not have Facebook. All right. So tonight, our guests are Bettye Blaize and her son Terrence. Their story is one to which many families can relate. Not many families or communities are willing to have this conversation that we're going to have tonight. But in their book
Mm-hmm.
entitled Doing Time with My Son, A Mother and Son's Enduring Love Through Incarceration, they share the 10-year journey and how they survived the system that was intended to break them. Also, on tonight's show, Betsy unveils her doing time with her son and how it provided her with a comprehensive look at the impact of addiction and incarceration and how it affects individuals and families, how it provided her, stakeholders, and other relevant persons with the tools and strategies to develop programs,
Mm-hmm.
communities, and family support systems that are most responsive and proactive in meeting the needs of boys and young men, especially those who have been caught up in the criminal justice system. Sound familiar? I don't think so. So we are going to bring up a special guest tonight. Welcome to Bettye Blaize and her son Terence. Hey,
Hi.
welcome.
Hi.
Hi, good night.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
everybody. How you doing?
It's good to
I'm
have
good.
you on tonight's show.
Yeah, it's great having you guys.
Well, thank you all for having us.
With pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we can warm up tonight's conversation with letting either of you tell us about what it means by enduring love through incarceration. Either of you can start. Start with Betsy. Go ahead, and then we'll have Terrence pick up.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, what I learned through the 10-year journey that nothing was going to get Terrence through those years if I didn't love him until he loved himself. And so that's where the enduring love comes in. And I try to stress that with families and mothers that are going through what I went through, to kind of get them to where Terrence and I are in our lives in 2020, opposed to many years ago, when we didn't have the flexibility of talking to one another when we wanted to, seeing each other when we wanted to, doing family things together. And so most important of anything is that, you have to spread that love and just let that person that is confined know that through love, love, faith, hope, everything can come to where we are today. Terrence, you want to elaborate?
You have to
You
unmute your
muted.
mic.
There you
Okay.
go.
What was it? Can you hear me, buddy?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear. Go ahead. Tell your part of the
Yes, we
story.
can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, having my mother and family kind of it really helped me get through the situation with everybody still holding on, and basically I had let go, and before go ahead out, Randy.
He putting his wife out.
So anyway, having my mom and family with me, it really helped me get through the time that I was away. Because I had kind of let myself just go, not keeping my mind right, not keeping myself together, and kind of letting jail and that kind of like um, guided my life, jail and just running around. And so it took me 5 years to even decide that I wanted to get myself back together. So if they hadn't stayed with me, they probably the 10 years might have turned into 20. So after the 5 years, I kind of got around some good guys in there and focused up a little more and realized that, I wasn't going to be in there forever. Kind of got my act together because, a lot of people think because you go away to prison that you're just going to automatically change and be a good person. But that's not true. You got to work on yourself every day. You got to find out where you went wrong, and after the 5 years, that's what I started doing, just trying to figure out where I went wrong in life. So once I started really getting into, when she came to me with writing this book, and I started writing stuff down and kind of like figuring out my life, because like I say, the first 5 years I was back and forth, going on lockup, getting in trouble, still basically living the same way I was living on the streets. Still selling drugs, still using drugs. But once I decided to, I said, what, I don't want to go back and out there the way I came. Yeah, so that's
All
the
right. So
beginning part of my story.
okay. Don't worry. I have a few things I want to get the viewers to get. I want the viewers to be exposed to your knowledge and experience tonight. So I'm going to go over back to mommy. I want to know,
Mommy.
based on your experience, mom, like you said that you did time, you did some time. How did you do that time? How did you serve your time while your son was incarcerated?
Well, when we went in the courtroom and I heard his sentence, I just didn't know how this was going to be done. He had done some little things, but he wasn't away from me for a length of time, and he was always in reach of me. So when this happened, it was like, okay, Betty, do your little pity party, and then figure out how we were going to do this together. Hence the title of the book, Doing Time with My Son, because even though I wasn't physically confined into the jail cell with him, I felt my mind had been incarcerated, and I needed to figure out how I could best help him help himself. And so I had to get it all out of me, the anger, the frustration of how did this happen in the first place, because he had a great foundation. So it wasn't as if what he chose to do, he was exposed to in his village. So once I got past hurt, upset, then I got mad. And I said, okay, this is how we're going to do it, because the first couple years I was still catering to his needs. He was writing me, he was sending me a list of things that he wanted. Go to this store and get the shirt there, go to this store, get the pants there. And then I realized that, you know, the state really was providing his real needs. And so we had to figure out our communication, our boundaries with one another, protecting him from the negativity that was out here, some being in our own family. I went into protect mode. I went to mama bear mode, where if he had somebody on his phone list that constantly never answered, you know, the conversation when I visit was, you need to get him off and put somebody else on that's gonna answer when you call. Same way with visits. If somebody said that they were coming to visit and they didn't, he needed to get rid of them and put somebody on who was going to be true to their word. And so when we started doing those things, it was real important that I felt that he got mail on a very regular base, that he could call home whenever he wanted to, and that the visits were going to be regular. And so we had pretty much a list of how we did visits. There were times when his oldest daughter would say, Grandma, can I go? I want to go by myself. And I would allow her. I didn't care as long as there was somebody present there on each visit. So, because I can only imagine the disappointment of him getting up. I knew what he did, because this dude had OCD real bad. So he would start preparing himself for his visit early that morning, and only thinking what it would feel like if he did all of that and nobody showed up. And so those were the things that gave me the strength to help him help himself, and that we could do this in a smooth, even though he was there, that it could be smooth and we could get through it. And on the other side of getting through it was going to be greatness.
All right. So you basically provided all the therapy he needed so he could cope during his time of incarceration. Because as you said, you wanted him to come home healed, and you wanted him to be a whole person.
Absolutely.
All right.
So you basically nurtured him through his times of need.
Yes, I was there 100%.
Mommy bear. All right. So I want you to tell us now, was there any shame or stigma that you had to get past as a mother? You said he had a good foundation. He came from a good home. I'm sure that as a good mother, you taught him some good principles. He had good manners. What was it that you had to get past to reassure yourself so you could be able to give him that level of comfort that you did?
Well, one of the things that I had to do was I had to get negative people out of my circle. They had to go. I know why he was there. I saw the papers, I saw the charges, I saw the time that he got. It wasn't open for discussion. We didn't once that was done, that door was closed. It wasn't open for discussion anymore, because it wasn't going to change anything. And so, did I have some shame? I don't think I call it shame, because I don't think I would ever be ashamed of him. It was very disappointing. And, earlier on when he got in a little bit of trouble here and there, I didn't even share. But when this happened, and the lessons that I learned, from the very beginning, from the courtroom on into him going into the facility that he went in, was there was no shame. There was no shame. He did what he did. He's paying for what he did. Where he started is not where he's going to end. And so we don't need to have that in-between conversations like, yeah, well, why would Terrence do something like that? We didn't have those kind of conversations. And so if that answered your question, that was no, there was no, as they say, it was no shame in my game. Where Terrence? He locked up. And that was that. So, but one of the things that I share with people is his accomplishments while he was in there put me in brag mode. You know, I bragged about him taking a class, and he had a GPA of 3.74, like he was in college somewhere. Because the same things that he got there, he would have gotten here, but he would still be paying to get those certificates. So yes, I bragged. So I bragged. I sent pictures of his certificates as he sent them to me. So yeah, so to answer your question, Lamar, and mistake, I really didn't have any shame because he did what he did, and it wasn't. I didn't do it. I'm still Bettye Blaize. Terrence White did what he did. Bettye Blaize didn't. So I didn't. No.
All right, so I'm gonna pause to take the comments because I see persons are already interacting with you, and then I'll let Lamar ask you the rest of the questions, and then I'll tap in. So we have greetings here from Darlene Kane. She says, "Good night, everyone." Says, "We mothers stick with our sons because we love hard and have so much belief in them. I'm thankful for this, my son. Back on the corner, I've done time with him many times." Florita Lewis says, "Good night." Marina says, "Two of my favorite authors. Hi, Miss Betty, and hi, Terrence."
That's my publisher. That's our publisher. She's in California.
All right, so we're still warming up. We're getting into the meat of the matter. Lamar,
So, what are some of the ways you supported your son during his incarceration? Incarceration, yeah.
Making sure that he got mail regularly, almost daily. Making sure that he had visits, every visit that we were able to go. If it wasn't weather related, we were there. Making sure that he had some of the things that he needed, some of the little basic things like the little Debbies and the little snacks and stuff like that. Making sure he had plenty of stamps. Basically, my role was to supply him with the things that he needed to stay connected to the outside. And that is just so very important. So very important. I made sure that he knew every birthday, every death, every person that got killed that he may have known, everybody that got married, anybody that graduated, anybody had a baby, so that when he came home, he wasn't fumbling around. He was current and up to date with the family members, which meant we could just keep moving on. And that wasn't just myself doing those supplies. He had a whole nother family. His mother-in-law's name is Betty too. And she worships the ground that he walks on through all of this. And she and her husband, Marcus, who is no longer with us, would call me and say, "Look, I want to go see my son by myself." And I say, "Okay," because anybody that had his same interests as myself was welcome to go. I only made sure that there was a visit. So when I share with mothers, I was like, if you do this, it can work. I'm telling you, it can really work. If you just, one of my favorite lines was, I knew he loved him, but I was gonna love him too. He loved himself real bad because he had so much greatness in him. From a little boy to now, he was raised from a little boy all the way up under a wonderful grandmother. Gran couldn't ask for a better one. They never had babysitters. They never ate fast food. They never did any of those things. She did that for all of our children. You know, he was raised with my niece, who's his cousin, at 5 months apart, and they're like sisters and brothers. In the same house, she got 3 degrees. He went to jail. He had a trust fund to go to college. But here, you know, when we revisit all of that and we see what we knew, what was coming back to us, it wasn't a concern of what, it was when. Because everything that was instilled in him, I knew it was still there. And I knew that by the way he interacted with other people in the prison, how he became a mentor to other men or other young boys in the prison, how he would reach out to me to help somebody, one of his inmate friends' mother, you know. So I knew who he was, so I wasn't worried.
All right, so Terrence, my question to you, based on everything that your mother just shared now, how important is family to you based on all that she has expressed? She ensured you got visits, she sent you mail, you got motivation, inspiration, you got the mother's care. It was as if she was there, but she wasn't really there. So how important is family to you based on that?
Oh, it's very important. I mean, you're not gonna get through it without them. I mean, at some point, not everybody, you know, but at some point, most people realize. Well, for me, when I was in there and getting in trouble and doing the things that I was doing, that was the main thing that stayed in my mind, that people still helping me. So like you can't, I was like, kept telling myself, Terrence, you can't keep getting it. Because I was getting bodies still there for me, and I'm still getting locked up with inside a prison. So I'm locked up twice. So I think if they would have stopped, it would have probably gotten worse. So I feel like that if you don't have some type of family, somebody you know that you know care about you, I think that that's a big part of getting through
Right.
that type of situation. So I mean,
All right.
if you're by yourself, you know, I mean, not to say people can't work through it by themselves, because you can. You know, I've been around guys, and you know, it's hundreds and thousands of people that don't have family inside of there. So you know, they have to do what they have to do. They have to make the best of a situation. You know, but for me, that was a big part, and it kind of woke me up to say, "Hold, I can't keep doing this." You know, too many people. I know who care about me, and I know who don't care about me. So
Yes.
I need to get this. I need to get my life in
Together.
order. You
Right.
know, so it definitely was a good situation to have my mother. You know, my cousins, um, and just my family in general, because you know, majority of my family was there in some fashion. Yeah.
And they're here tonight. Just tell us a little bit more about how important it is for the family or the community to be there for a young man or a young boy who is in incarceration, who is going through that lonely period. I know that, well, I don't know. I can't say I know, sorry. I've heard how lonely it can be when persons are locked up. You have all this extra time on your hands to think. You have a time that you probably regret doing what you did. You made some decisions. You have a lot of reflection time on your hands. And some people lose it because they have too much quiet time. So tell us, encourage the viewers now who are listening on how important it is for the family or the community that surrounds young people to stand by them, what they are actually saving them from, what you were saved from.
Oh
Tell
yeah,
us.
yeah. I believe I believe it's real important. So I mean, if you do have someone that's away, you know, you just had. I mean, you as family members and that's home and we're away, they're still in there with us. So at some point, I feel like that, as far as the younger, I mean, because I went in, I was getting in trouble since I was like early 20s. So it was like 3 years here, 5 years there, and then the last one was the one. So I never paid attention to the first ones. That was okay. It was like a vacation. I come home, and this was like a indefinite vacation. The last was like, it made me think. But I feel like, far as family members being with the younger generation, is they need them bad. Like, if you can help, I mean, because we do have, you have a lot of time, and they can encourage them to be, get into school, any type of program. I mean, to be honest, it's not that. I mean, you can be a person that just don't want to do anything, but there's a lot going on inside. And if you have encouragement from the outside, saying get involved in some things in there, because it's not just bars and you sitting there just, how they portray it on TV, where you just sitting behind a bars for 24 hours. That's not it. So you got people in there with us, they have a full constructive day. So in order to achieve that, I mean, they do need encouragement from family if they have it. Yeah.
All right. So they need a shoulder to lean on. So I'm gonna let Lamar ask Betty the next question, which I believe is a perfect follow-up for this one. And then I'll just go over the comments because people are asking a lot of questions and I don't want anyone to feel neglected. So Lamar, go ahead.
So, Mrs. Blair, I always hear that mothers tend to have those, the sixth sense, so they can pick up the little slightest thing with their children. When you go home and you think you're hiding something from your mom, and say she not go find out, but suddenly she pick up. So, based on your sixth sense, what would you say some of the significant differences you realize in your son's behavior and just his character on a whole, like when he was incarcerated and before he got incarcerated? Is that before and after?
Well, one thing I can truly say about Terrence is that he's always been a nice guy, a kind guy. He did the things that he did. I couldn't believe it. He had to tell me that he did them, because I wasn't one of those. Well, yes, I was kind of that felt that the crowd he was with, that he had started hanging out with, was the cause of him doing what he did. But he was the one that corrected me, that let me know that some of the things that was going on, he was the leader. So I would have never put him in that role. When things start really changing in our household, I knew it. I could tell there was, when he started to indulge in using drugs, I was the only one that knew. I could tell by the way he held his mouth. It was close to 2 years before I could convince my mother and my family that he was using something, that he was using some narcotics. My mother still didn't want to believe it because he always kept himself neat and groomed. He would come to my mother's house every day. He was definitely a granny boy. They all were. They all loved Gran. And so she was like, no, Terrence just left here. Pooch just, she called him Pooch. She's like, Pooch just left here. And he was fine. And I said, if you gave him some money, he's going to be finer. And so, I did all the things that I knew to do at the time. I sent him, Lamar style, I sent him to the best rehabs. He had one he went to, they picked him up in a limousine. Now, I don't have money like that, but I felt it was worth it, because what I learned is that I wasn't going to be able to stop him. He was going to have to hit a brick wall and figure it out himself. And that's, I all day long, and he shares it in the book where he says he went to those places just to shut my mouth up because I have a mouth. And so, he said that's what he did. He went to shut my mouth up, and it did. It did shut me up because he's going to be in rehab and he's going to come home and everything's going to be perfect. Well, I learned a lot through that journey about the drug addiction. And so before you can get to anything else, that has to be addressed. And that was what I tiptoed on because I didn't know. I didn't know how to address it because here's what my mother, Gran, would say to him. She told me, just tell him stop. Okay, Ma, it's not like that. My mother was like 80-some years old. Because here's what she knew about children. I was 50-something, and if she told me to stop, whatever it was, I was going to stop. But, once I became more educated, I just knew that I was just going to let him have to go the distance until he was tired. There was nothing I could do about that. And so does that mean I didn't still support and try to give him the help he needed? Absolutely, I did. But if his mind wasn't ready to give into the drugs. So the sixth sense was there, Lamar. I knew, I just couldn't fix that. I could only just keep encouraging him that that's not what you want to do with your life. This is where you're going to wind up. And that encouragement piece is just so important. Just encourage, just whether it go over their head through one ear out the other ear, it doesn't matter. Just keep telling them their greatness and calling them a king. And this is not what you really want to do with your life. You had a great foundation. It's still there. Go back and start over again. So I hope that answered that sixth sense. And yes, we do have that.
All right. Thank you for that. Just stop. Right. If everyone were told to just stop and they stopped, I believe the world would be a better place. But
absolutely.
as you said, you have to leave him to come to a place where he reflects on what he has done, where he wants to go. He must have a why. There must be a why. And if the why he was doing what he was doing wasn't that relevant, or maybe not giving that much productivity to his life, or wasn't allowing him to bear good fruits to make you proud or himself proud, then of course, if he has the mind to change, then definitely he will change. And he did. You just had to keep doing what you had to do, what you knew was best for him as a mother. So we are going to hear now from the rest of the viewers what they took from tonight's conversation so far. All right. Marian Jones says, hello, everyone. She says, thanks for joining. That's how mothers are. That love him until he loved himself. I know, right? Lenora, love him till he loves himself. That is beautiful and wise. Hey, Betty, how did you know when he started truly loving himself?
Oh, man. You could see the difference. You could hear the excitement when he called to tell me, I just passed this test. He took a test and he scored higher than anybody else. And he was so proud of what I found out is once he finished something, once he went completely through a door and then shut it and stayed in there until he felt something different, he was so, let me tell you, he didn't really brag. He was just so excited. But once he accomplished one thing and completed, because he had a habit of starting something and not finishing it. But once he completed his first venture in there, oh my goodness. First of all, he knew in the beginning, he would say to me, well, it's got a waiting list. I don't know when I'm going to get on. And I was like, Terrence, look, every time you walk past that dude's office, just ask him where you at on the list. Ask him where you're on the list. He going to get tired of you. And when he get tired of you, he going to tell you one day, just come on in. And so, just to see him the accomplishments one by one by one. I was just like, you would have thought he was at Harvard sending me his transcripts. You know, when he really realized that he was worth a 3.74 GPA in a class that he really knew nothing about, that just showed his greatness that was there that wasn't being utilized. You know, he came home with like 3 certifications. He could have done whatever he wanted. And they were all jobs that led into careers. And so when I saw him and he started asking me questions about things, I already saw the change. And let me tell you, those last couple of years he was there, we rarely bumped heads. You had great visits, you know, our conversations on the phone was good. Because I got to tell you a little background on Terrence. He a little bit spoiled because he just was. You know, he just had some privileges. And it was afforded to him because I worked real hard every day. And then he had a grandmother on his father's side who, you know, made sure that when he was 15 and 9 months, he was able to get a car. And, you know, it was just, I wanted the best. I wanted, like every mother, every parent, that you just want the best. You want to say, I want to give them more than what I had. But what I had was not measured by money. In this house I'm sitting in right now was my mother's house that we kept after she passed away. When I sit in here, I can sit in each room and share some love stories because that's all she showered us with was loves. We didn't wear designer nothings. And so when he came along, I did the exact opposite. I don't know that it was right or wrong. I know today he still loves nice things, but he learned from the best, which is his mother. He know how to do that percentage off thing and coupons. So yeah, so that's when I saw the change. When he made his first complete accomplishment, I didn't have to worry anymore.
All right, Terrence, how did you feel about that accomplishment? Was it because you found yourself loving yourself more? What was it?
Yeah, I just knew that I wanted some change, and I mean I realized that I did a lot of stuff and didn't complete it. You know, I mean, my life wasn't all like, you know, I had a lot of good things that came my way, and I kind of like just passed them up. You know, either found myself having to feel like I had a better deal doing the stuff I was doing in the streets. You know, because you know, sometimes it was beneficial, sometimes it wasn't. So it wasn't just drugs all the time, you know. So, but I feel like I never made it to the finish line with a lot of things. So once I started doing small, I just said, you know what, let me just do something small. Let me, you know, I just kept, you know, stepping up and say, okay, I'm gonna finish this. So it wasn't big. To me, it was a big accomplishment, but it wasn't on a huge scale. So I didn't want to say, all right, I want to get this done. I just wanted to finish some things because I knew once I came home that, you know, you got to complete some stuff to get ahead. And I knew I wanted to get on track once I got out this time. And it worked out. Like, I mean, it worked out really well. So I never gave myself a chance to keep jobs and stuff like that. So once I came home, I said, you know what, whatever opportunity come down the pipe, I'm going to do it. Because I had a lot of successful friends. Like a lot of my friends, all of them wasn't bad, you know. So I had some good ones and I had some bad ones. So when I came home, the guys that were, you know, still on track, doing the right things, I just kind of like got with them and it changed it changed. It did 100% change, you know, to where I'm at now, you know. So it within, you know, you say 8 years of me being home, the accomplished that I, you know, stuff that I didn't accomplish, It's guys that I've been around. They've been here 20 years and still ain't, So I just, once I got home, I said, let me just focus up. I knew I wanted some things. I knew I wanted a career, um, and that's what I got. I got a good job, a real good job, a good career. And everybody, my family is taken care of,
I can see that your mom is really proud. It's written all over her face. But I can see she's very proud. I'm sorry, I accidentally clicked the mouse, but this is a question for you. Did you have anyone inside you could trust at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, I don't know. I think some people, that's not a place I had more trust. I still talk to a lot of them that's in there. So when sometimes when I need some advice, and I mean I gotta wait for them to call. But yeah, I mean you got scholars in there. I mean, so but I mean you got your bads. It's the same. I have less people out here that I can trust than when I was in there. So I feel like a lot where I'm at today mentally, a lot of that came from some of the men that I met inside.
Good to
So yeah,
know.
you can,
Lenore,
you can trust. You can trust people, absolutely.
all right. Lenora has another question for you. She says, "Hi, Terence. What does loving yourself mean to you? And was there a major moment where self-love started to happen?"
Oh yeah, I kind of remember that particular day. I was in trouble, and I was on lockup for a long time, for like months. And like one day I woke up and I was writing. We had started doing the book, and I just woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I knew that I was a good person, but I just had so much. I feel like I'm not gonna. I would say damage. It was a lot of damage done to me, but I kind of just actually woke up one day and said, you know what? You're a good person. We're gonna make this thing right. Like I just was kind of like talking to myself for like almost a whole day, and it was easy. Like once I started, realizing where I went wrong in my life, you know, um, I did some bad things, and I hurt people to get where I was at. Um, and I think I kind of I gave remorse for a lot of stuff that I done, stuff that she doesn't even know, as far as my case, she just read the case. She don't know in detail about the stuff that went on. And I think once I did all that, I knew that I was forgiven, that, God ain't look at me as a bad person, and I could get back on track. So I knew that time that I was on lockup for those months, it kind of woke me up and said, you know what, you're a better person. If you don't love yourself, you gotta love you. I feel like I think my version is a little different. That I feel like you gotta love yourself. I knew she loved me, but nobody else gonna really love me. That's my mother. She gonna do that, Like, so me and my wife, I went to jail, married, we got divorced, so people can stop loving you. That can happen. Um, but I knew once I took care of me and loved me, that I was gonna be all right. You know. Yeah.
All right. So before I go over to Lamar, because he has a few more questions for mom. Elliston, he's a viewer. He says, "What caused you to walk the wrong way?"
um, I think coming up, well, I lost a lot of men. I lost the three major men in my life in 1 year. So as I got older, I feel like if they were around, things probably would be different. you know, I'm a believer that it's important to have a man around. I'm not saying that a mother can't raise their son, but I believe that a man figure around, things would be a lot different. And I didn't have that. And I slowly but surely gravitated towards the streets. And I think that's where I got, you know, I started liking being out there. And I feel like I was learning stuff from these guys on the street that now I look back on, it wasn't worth nothing. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much, you know, like I feel like I just feel like my life would be different if it was a man around. Because I at 16, and you know, I was 6 feet at 16. So I mean, it really wasn't. I mean, she could say what she wanted to say, and you know, she may even could tug at me, but I'm still basically gonna do what I want to do. That was my mindset anyway, you know.
All right. Floretta Lewis says it's not over till it's over. Lamar, I'm gonna let you take away from here.
So hi, Mrs. Blair. So you know, there are certain stuff that in our lives we're afraid to talk about. You know, for example, having the talk, you know, the talk, that special talk that we all have, you know. But when did you know it was the right time? Or when did you realize it was time to open up and talk about your son's incarceration?
You know, again, like the first couple times that he talked about that he was on vacation, I never dreamt it would elevate to something major. And so when I had the conversation with Terrence, waiting for trial, whatever, because of course I got him out on bail. And we talked. He never really shared a whole lot with me because it was hurtful. One of the things that we always talked about is that, you know, I'm gonna be there for you as long as you don't ever make another mother cry. So that never happened. He didn't kill anybody to make another family go through anything. But in the beginning of his incarceration, we had conversations about how he got there until I felt like it wasn't even important to talk about it anymore. And so if there was anyone judging him, in my mind, I had my own little saying that says, before you judge me, I want to let you know that God already dropped the charges. So when saying that, we had conversations, but one of the things that we don't do now is we don't revisit that part of his life unless it's something comical that happened while he was there. It's not even open for discussion. It's done. He believed at some point that where he was is not where he had to stay. And where he was, he could move on to bigger and better things. And so, yes, we talked but I'm going to tell you what, that last time on lockup, when I went to visit him, I shared this with you, Shanique. I said to him, how in the hell can you be on lockup when you're locked up? I don't get it, but here's what I'm not going to do. I am not going to visit you behind a plexiglass wall and a nasty phone. I'm not doing that. And so, you know, if I shut down, everybody shut down, because right now everything that's going on, because I'm happy to be able to be there for you, but I'm not happy about coming to see you on lockup because that means you did something dumb. And I believe, Terrence, that was the last lockup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so from that point on, I couldn't wait. My girlfriend and I, who's his god sister, we've been friends since 1981. That was our day out. We went to Hagerstown. He was in a little town called Hagerstown, Maryland. And in that town, they had prime outlets. They had Cracker Barrel and a winery. And that's what we did all day after we visited him. So it was never depressing. Once I didn't have to see him on lockup, it was not depressing. We look forward to it. He came out. My girlfriend's favorite joke to him is he had this t-shirt for 5 years. Why is it still Snow White? And everybody else is dingy gray. And his tennis shoes that were 2 years old were sparkling white, and everybody else was left over. We never could figure that out. Except for, like I said in the beginning, he has OCD real bad. Did that answer?
And I understand how
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
really hurt a person. It can really hurt a person to see the person that they love so much hurt. Yeah, I understand.
And with Terrence said that he lost a lot of males in his life. So as a mother, how did you start overcompensating? How did you try to help him through those situations?
That was the same word I used with you the other night, overcompensating. Well, what I did, I thought was right. It was actually 4 men. It was his father, then his father's father, then my husband, who had been in his life since he was like 5 years old. And 6 months after that was the ultimate. That was Big Dad. That was my father, his granddad, his grandfather, we called Big Dad. I thought I did all the right things. He went to counseling. I had to still go to work to provide for us and figure it out myself. So because he never shared with me until way, way, way later, that when he revisited his life backwards, that's where, and as I go back, exactly, the first time he got in trouble was right after my husband died. He got on somebody's moped and was riding around on it, and the police pulled him over. So that was where it began. So when he took me back to that, I knew exactly where it started. So that was what we don't call, but it was actually trauma. It was actually a trauma in his life that I thought I did what I needed to do, but I didn't get all the meat and potatoes of what he was really going through and how that really affected him with those people not being in his life, because clearly every one of them would have been instrumental in the man that he was going to become. So
Ellison says, I see Terrence is sad for what he has done. He now loves himself, so bravo. Cynthia says, God already dropped the charges. Dramatic. I see you find peace in him. See him find peace in himself. All right. My bad. Yes, mommy, Jesus dropped the charges. Of course. Of course. Lamar, your take?
So, Mrs. Blair, so after all of this and your son has made it out a better man, what would you say to people who are going in these situations right now? What are the different help and services that are available for boys and young men?
Terrence or me? Terrence?
I was asking you, Mrs. Blair.
Well, there's a lot. First of all, you got to make sure that child is there. Is there where they're wanting these services, because like I said, even with Terrence, when he wasn't ready, I just wasted a whole bunch of money. But there are a lot of services. If you have a young boy in your life right now who has the potential of being as what they call at risk, that's when you need to start hollering out and asking for help. I know things are going on in the schools that they're not there, but Google stuff, Google organizations that work with our young boys. There's a lot of state money out there, but we don't know where it's at. So you got to start asking questions. And if that child's already been in trouble and he has a PO, if he's a juvenile, I believe you can, and Terrence, you can correct me if I'm wrong. If it's a juvenile, I believe a parent can be present at their conversations. Terrence, I know we didn't really do juvenile stuff, but yeah, I'm thinking as that. But what I would say mostly to our mothers is the people that can service you, be nice to them. Don't get upset when they don't give you exactly what you want, because most of the time they're not able to. But the things that they can provide you with, keep a level head. If that person can't help you, just kind of reach out and ask them, I know that I'm in the right building. I'm just not in the right room. Can you help me? So it's all about humbling yourself and asking for help, because there are some services out there. There are some mentoring groups. There's some men out there who want to help a young male that may be heading down the wrong path. You just got to reach out. Thank God for technology. Google anything you want and it's going to come up. But there are a lot of organizations that work with particularly our African American boys. We just got to ask and be vigilant and just keep knocking on doors till somebody open one. Because as quiet as it's kept, even I found out journeying with Terrence, I wasn't asking for anything special for him. He had rights. And guess what? You all are going to honor his rights. He would call me or write me and tell me to call this person. And guess what? I was on the phone. But mostly with me, I was able to befriend him and we were good. He got stuff that I didn't even know he should be able to get. But you just got to be humbling. You got to respect the service or the provider that you're trying to get a service from, because, if you cut me out, you ain't get nothing. So you just got to humble yourself and go in there prepared to advocate for your child. There's services out there. So when you hear people say, well, what is he going to do? He ain't going to never be able to get a job because he got a felony. It's not the truth. There's companies out there looking for some of our young men who, because like he said, everybody in that prison ain't a bad guy. So some of them in there are way smarter than we are. I see that when they writing up motions and appeals, and somebody wrote a motion for Terrence that I was going to pay. I had already paid one lawyer $1,500. Am I right, Terrence?
Right.
Terrence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it got him back in court. So just don't close the door on thinking because they did something bad that's who they are. Mm-hmm. And mothers to just stop saying, I'm tired, I ain't doing this no more, I'm done. You're not done. These dudes don't come with expirations. Okay, so go ahead, have your pity party, get it over with, and then best figure out how you can help them. Particularly at these young persons. One of my proudest moments with Terrence is I was in the car with him a couple years ago, and a young boy called him who was getting ready to graduate from air conditioning school, Terrence. Huh? This was a young guy. He was young while he was there, maybe 25 when he came home. And he said, and I heard, we were in the car together, and I heard him say to Terrence, all because of you, Mr. TW, that he came home and he made something of himself. He got his heating and air conditioning certificate. So one of my proudest moments with Terrence is when he got involved with a group called Youth Challenge, and he became the facilitator of that organization. So just know that even inside, there are some opportunities for our young men.
All right. So my question to you, Terence, is I'm asking on behalf of our viewers, what encouragement or word of advice would you give the young men or young boys who are incarcerated? What would you say to the mothers or families, communities out there who are about to give up on these same young men? What would you say to them based on your experience?
I missed the part because it went blank. I couldn't hear you.
Okay. All right. So what would you say? I'm asking on behalf of our mothers our communities, our villages, our families that are about to give up on the young men or young boys who are incarcerated for making some mistakes for varying reasons, what would you say to encourage them based on your experience? What advice would you give?
Oh, I would tell them not to give up. I mean, you know your family member, and you know. I mean, I feel like everybody makes mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like
Go on.
everybody should be given another chance to. Everybody should be given another chance to make themselves a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And far as guys that's incarcerated or about to get home, come home, I feel like that they need to. Me personally, I just said I was going to start at the bottom and just work my way up. So any opportunity that came my way, I was there for. It didn't matter. So like my mindset was coming home if I had to work at McDonald's or wash dishes, whatever I had to do, I was going to do it just to stay home and be successful at whatever I decided to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. So I actually was washing cars when I first came home, and a buddy of mine was like, "All right, that's it. Come on down here. I got a job." So
Mm-hmm.
it
So
can,
basically, you have
it,
to be
you know,
willing to
I think
put out
sticking with stuff,
effort. Mm-hmm.
right? Yep. And I mean, a lot of guys, feel ashamed of doing certain stuff, and that was me, um, because of the lifestyle that I was
Mm-hmm.
living. It was just a different lifestyle. So I feel like once I came home and changed that mindset, it actually changed my life for real. Like it just made me a whole nother person. Yeah. So
All right.
I say don't give up. You know, stick with them.
Great
Yeah.
word choice. Darlene is saying that you should please do a panel and speak to youth or teens need this. See? Yeah. So I hope that Darlene, not just Darlene, but all of you are enjoying the show. All the silent viewers, big up yourself. Thank you for coming out. Lamar, any comments before we get into the giveaway? Because I'm going to play some music.
I want to say I was really overwhelmed by the story because as a young man who is going through basically in incarceration at first before you even know anyone in there, it's like a sense of loneliness, and I know that loneliness can drive people in insanity, but the fact that you endure it was a beautiful thing. And not only that, you went through it and just come out just as the way you went in, but you came out as a much better and brighter person. It actually gave you a chance to find yourself, and that's a touching story. And I want to say, whoa, mom, big up yourself, big up yourself. You did a really good job.
So can I share this last part that Terrence hasn't shared yet? So when I do this, I can't wait to get to the end of the story, the end of the book, to tell you really what he mentioned, that his wife divorced him, but he didn't mention that they remarried and they have a 6-year-old, a beautiful home that he's sitting in, and he made her go to her room, so I can't tell her to stick her head in, but he voted, he got a passport, he's been out the country, he's everything that he knew he should be at the end of the day. So I just like to tell that part for the encouragement that people say, their life is taken away from them when they are incarcerated because they have a felony. That's not so. He has everything that every person that maybe went to college, that maybe work in corporate world, he has all of those things right where he's sitting right now. And so I like people to know that part, because he cut off when he said his wife divorced him. But guess what? She never really divorced him, because she and I traveled that road together many times after divorce was signed. So it's his life couldn't have ended better. And it's not ended, but at the chapter that we're in now, it can only get better. I can call him now, ask him, can he send me a couple dollars? Because he lives a little distance from me. He lives about an hour away from me, so. But we talk every single day, 3 or 4 times a day. It irritates some folks, but that's who we've always been. So that's that. So Terrence, I had to share that part because you didn't get to it.
Thank you.
Someone is anxious. All right then. So it's about that time. Some people are just joining, but basically we went over Terrence and his mom's experience, how their love endured for each other during his time of incarceration, how she was basically his tower of strength. She ensured that he got visits regularly, he got mail, motivation. It was if they weren't apart at all. So I really commend you, Miss Betsy, for doing all that work. I don't even call it work. It was just showing the love that you have in a different way that not many of us are used to. And I'm sure that your testimony will reach a lot of hearts. And I trust that whoever is blessed with with the copy of your book will indeed be a unique brand ambassador for you that will take your message far. Okay, I'm trusting God for it, because I know someone who is away right now. I'm not sure how to get to her. I'm not sure what's happening, but I'll try to find out. I'll let her know that help is here. Yes, right. Yeah, it's all right. So I'm gonna get to some music. Thank you guys for sharing with us so far. Thank you guys who have been commenting and interacting with us in the comment section. I really enjoy your feedback. So I'm going to give you a chance. Either of you decide among yourselves who will ask the question. If you want to ask 1 or 2 questions, the winner will of course be presented with a copy of your book. So guys who are ready, wake up those who are sleeping. Big up on yourself. Type ready in the comments when you are ready, so I can know when to get started. I'm going to play a little free non-copyright music, and let me know when you're ready for the question. Type ready in the comments, guys. Don't know if you can hear it. Ready? All right, he is living the 90-10 rule. All right. I'm not familiar with that rule, but you can tell me about it. Type ready in the comments, guys, if you are ready. I see people watching. Silent viewers, it's time to speak up. This may be your chance to read a really interesting book. Type ready, guys. We don't have all night. Guess more, something more upbeat. So one person is ready. Living the 90-10 rule is realizing that life is 10% of what happened to you in life and 90% of what you will do about what happened to you. Okay, interesting. Thank you for that clarity, Marianne Jones, and thank you for tuning.
Brilliant.
Yes.
All right, so I don't like that music here. More something upbeat. Anyways, ask your question, guys, and I will find something else.
Miss Shanique, we're gonna have to let Terrence go. He got 4 o'clock truck waiting for him.
All right. No problem.
So if he wants to say good night, thank everybody for listening. Terrence.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was
Thank you
nice.
for being on the
Enjoyed y'all.
Yeah, and
Right.
the pleasure is all ours because
Have a
it
great
was
night,
indeed a
sir.
beautiful story.
Yeah.
Have a great night and a whole blessing follow you for the rest of your life.
Amen.
All right, Terrence. I'll
You
talk to
too,
you later.
Zamar. Y'all take it easy.
Uh-huh.
All right.
All right.
Night.
All
I
right.
can see his eyes.
All right. You should know. Well, the question is up to you now. Family,
Mm-hmm.
friends, let's go. Be honest, guys. Ready now? Ask a question. Go ahead, Miss Blaize. Ask the question, and then
Oh, you want waiting for me to ask the question.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So the question that I would ask to our listeners is, what can you bring to the table to help and support a mother who is going through a young person that is potentially at risk? What do you have to offer, if it's to the mother, or if it's bringing somebody in to help her with that young man? What can you contribute? And that's for all of us. We see it every day. So what can we do? What can you do?
Let's go, guys. You don't want me to win this book.
Come on, guys. It's really a must read.
It's a very deep question. It's deep. Elliston says support. Anybody else?
Mm-hmm.
Pray.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? It's a very compound question, guys. We need something compound. We need something concrete.
Yeah,
We
like a paragraph, you know.
We need a speech. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's go. Give our best support. We need more. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I would keep communication with you and encourage a mother to stick with her son. All right? Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Contact the brothers in organizations to help them. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything
So
else?
might add more sentence to paragraph as we go along. You see.
Now give us a full call that now. A full
paragraph in
what can you do? All
what
right.
can you do?
Complete now.
Come on, guys. This is a story that touched me as an individual, and I know many of us are touched because it's a story like no other. It really shows not only a man's fight in incarceration, but a mother's love for a child. Guys, it's a must read. It's a must read. It's oh my god. It's one of those stories that will help you. Come on, guys. We want to see those paragraphs.
I'm going to give you guys 2 more minutes, all right? And then I'll let Miss Blaize decide on the winner. 2 more minutes. I'm gonna play some music. 2 minutes. And if we not get no answer, she have to go keep the book because what can you do to help? Guys, come on. All right. 10 seconds to the 2-minute mark. I see 3 responses. 4. All right. All right. So that's it. So I'm going to reveal the comments. As you can see at the bottom of our screen, guys, you may contact Miss Bettye Blaize by email. She's on Facebook. You can find her on Instagram. She's on Twitter. And you can visit her website if you'd like to purchase a copy of her book. If you feel guilty, you don't want to win it, you can purchase it. Yes, conscience is real. All right, so I'm going to reveal the comments now and let Miss Blaize decide on the winner. All right, so Elliston says emotional support. Darlene Kane says talk to the mother, learn more about her and her son, then I can advise better. Elliston says support her until it's all over. Cynthia says be there for them, pray for them, ask them what exactly they need, listen to their concerns, research resources to share, offer your gifts and talents to support them. Marian Jones says support in deep trauma, PTSD, and create programs. And lastly, but not least, Monique says reach out, write letters, know the administration and the process so you can identify with the struggle and not become desensitized to it. Wow. The last one is really interesting. Wow. Ooh. I wish I could vote. I wish I could vote.
Brilliant comments.
I know, right?
Brilliant comments.
All right. Reveal the winner.
So,
Drum rolls, please.
with Monique.
Ooh.
But let me say one other thing to Miss Darlene Kane. Miss Darlene Kane is from my town, Baltimore, my area, and she's an advocate for everything that has to do with our African American men and whatever. And so she's gonna call me when tomorrow, whatever, and I'm actually gonna make sure that she gets a copy of the book too. But Miss Monique Porter has the right idea. What needs to happen. We need to know. We need to identify what the issue is and then move forward.
And
because otherwise we're beating a dead horse. If we don't know where it originated, how are we going to get to a conclusion of it? Can't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a brilliant response.
Right.
So thank you, Monique Porter.
All right. So congratulations to tonight's winner, Monique. Please, I know that Miss Blaize is going to be the one to send you the book, however she wishes to, or however you decide on it. It could be ebook or paperback.
I don't have ebook.
Oh.
So I need you to get her information so I can put it in the mail to her tomorrow.
All right, no problem. I'll do that tonight if I can. All right, Monique, congratulations. Please send me your email to TalkTruthSeries@gmail.com. It's running on the screen below. Thank you for participating. That's a really awesome comment. Great winnings.
Yes.
Great advice, Monique.
Yes, and I'm not telling lies still. Brilliant words of encouragement, man. Take our advice, guys.
Before we forget, we usually ask the winner to send their speech. Monique, please send your speech and send me your email, please. Before the night ends, you can reach out to me on Messenger. I'll respond, no problem. So I can get your information and give you more details on what happens next. Thank you guys for tuning in. Congratulations, Monique. All right, Monique, I'm waiting on your All right, Monique, you see this? You send me an email, please. Just send the email to the email address that's running on screen. Yes, a speech, ma'am. Please and thanks. Quickly.
Those speech.
They love me. They really love me. Yeah, one of those things.
I want to give thanks to my mom for giving birth to me. Those type of speech,
Right.
Lamar, I love your smile.
Oh, thank you very much.
Let's say Miss Betsy, you're really pretty. Ooh.
Thank you.
She looks like Miss. That's true. That's so true. We
You
know.
look like a Miss That's funny.
Still waiting on your speech. Congratulations, Monique.
Oh, yes, well, I've been waiting.
You can only send one line if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the TalkTruth email address. It's running on
Yeah.
screen. Send me a speech first so I can get to close the live stream. Guys, do you have any last words? Miss Betty, do you have any final words you want to give to us? Anyone you want to shout out? Yeah, those will be
I always like to let everybody know that my life is an open book. And if there's anyone that was watching this that have something that they want to ask that they didn't want to ask on live, you can certainly go to Messenger and inbox me. If you go to my website, you will find my cell phone number and my email address. I'm happy to share whatever I can to help another person get through what I've gone through. And I know that everybody is not open to sharing at particular platforms, but if somebody wants a one-on-one with me or have a question that I might be able to answer, if I can't answer it, I never say I don't know. I'm gonna get back with you. I don't like I don't know, because that means I don't know, and I don't like to not know. So just feel free to reach out to me however you like. Messenger, email, call me. Whatever I can do to help you, I'm there. I'm down for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lamar, any final words?
I want to just say, guys, really, you need to get your copy because, just hearing mother and son talk, it shows, I don't know, it's like it speak about something that, life changing. A mother will support her child going through all of that, and a man finding himself while he was struggling. Wonderful story. Wonderful story.
Thank you, Lamar.
Shanique says last words. I will watch the replay. God bless you, Miss Betty, Shanique, Lamar, and the rest of the TalkTruth Series family. All right, so I don't see a speech from Monique, so I guess she can share it in the comments later. Guys, thank you so much again for watching. Congratulations to Monique for winning a copy of the book.
Hey, Monique.
All right, big up yourselves, guys. Thank you, Miss Betty, and please send thanks to Terence when you.
I'm gonna stay in touch because I'm coming to Jamaica as soon as this foolishness. I need a red snapper and some whole cakes and some plantain.
Why everyone loves plantain? What is this about this plantain that everybody
love plantain? And then, of course, I need a good bowl of curry chicken and pigeon peas and rice.
Wow.
So I already got my menu. I just need to get there.
Wow. All right.
All right, guys. Well, good night. Thank you all for having Terrence and I. And again, I hope that somebody's going to walk away tonight with a whole different idea of how our incarcerated family members should be treated. So.
All right.
That was, so thank you, guys. I'm off to bed. Cup of coffee and bed. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Stay in touch.
Tune in for the viewers who are still here. Please remember to tune in on Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. right here. Same place, same time. We have another special guest coming on and a fantastic announcement, guys. More giveaways coming, and I have a special announcement for myself as well. So stay tuned. Thank you for reaching out. This is TalkTruth Series, where we have real talk, real people live. Good night. Have a blessed night, guys. Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Good night.